Let you all open all your three eyes. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham.
Let's start with the Sadguru Vandanam. Nityanandam Paramasukhanam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gaganasadusham Tattvamasyaadilakshya Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Let's go through the disclaimers. Security measures. No photography, video, audio recording. Important cautions. Please be aware of the important cautions. What is spa manifestation? Let's hear from Bhagwan himself explaining what is spa manifestation.
All the 25 states of consciousness, when they happen in you due to your chemicals and hormones ups and downs, it is powerlessness. When it happens in you out of your free will and consciousness, it is powerfulness. That's all. When you fall into sleep, it is powerlessness. When you enter into sleep, it is powerfulness. When you fall into dream, it is powerlessness. When you decide to dream, it is powerfulness. So I have added the ultimate powerfulness, Turiyatita, in your whole being and doing. Manifest all the powers. Understand, power manifestation is nothing but cognitive shift. It is not work. It is cognitive shift. Understand? It is just cognitive shift. It's not work. Work is a 4-letter word. Power manifestation is cognitive shift, playing with life, playing with being alive. static matter, dynamic activity, strategic existence. All these three has no boundary. You are one with it. You are alive in everything. Everything listens to you. Everything decides as you want. Power manifestation is cognitive shift, raising your frequency, not work.
Now let's understand who is Paramashiva. Bhagwan himself has beautifully explained the Paramashiva in all of us.
Paramashiva does manifestation, maintenance, rejuvenation, pulling out of delusion and liberation. He resides in his supreme Paramashiva Swarupa as Ajomuha or Adhomuha, unborn, beyond form, formlessness. Is Paramashiva Swarupa. That Paramashiva Swarupa manifests with these 5 faces as Sadashiva, Tatpurusha, Vamadeva, Ahora, Satyojata, Ishana. 5 faces he manifests and does the Panchakritya, Srishti, manifestation, Sthiti, sustenance, Samhara, rejuvenation, Trobhava, pulling out of delusion, Anugraha, liberation. Understand? He does all these 5 jobs. Through these 5 phases. Now listen carefully. Tatpurusham, Vamadevam, Satyojatam, Ahoram, Ishanam. These 5 phases does Panchakrityas. Each phase, each dimension is not just one F-A-C-E phase, P-H-A-S-E phase. It's not just F-A-C-E, P-H-A-S-E. Understand? The creation. Not just creation getting created. Even sustenance need to be created. Destruction need to be created. And pulling out of delusion need to be created. Liberation need to be created. Then creation, manifestation need to be maintained. Maintenance, sthiti itself need to be maintained. Destruction, samhara, the rejuvenation need to be sustained, maintained when it is happening. Pulling out of delusion, trobhava, need to be maintained when it is happening. And anugraha, liberation, need to be maintained when it is happening. Those micromilliseconds when it is happening. So understand, Satyojata Murti as 5 phase, Ishana Murti as 5 phase, Vamadeva Murti as 5 phase, Agora Murti has 5 phase, Tatpurusha Murti has 5 phase. So, Tatpurusha Murti as is 5 phase.
Agora Murti has his five face. Vamadeva Murti has his five face. Satyojata Murti has his five face. Ishana Murti has his five face. All these five Murtis, five faces put together is 25 faces of Mahasadashiva.
Bhagavan beautifully explained Paramashiva. Now, who is His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nityananda Paramashivam? Let's hear from Bhagavan himself. Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagadguru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nityananda Paramashivam, is a reviver of Kailasha, the ancient Enlightenment civilization, the great cosmic borderless nation. Is an avatar from and is a supreme pontiff of Hinduism. His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nityananda Paramashivam, has made science of our manifestation, yoga, temple-based university for humanity, Sovereign Order of Kailasha, led by His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nityananda Paramashivam, and Nityananda Order of Monks, Nuns, Hindu diasporas, are working for global peace to give superconscious breakthrough to humanity. Nityananda Hindu University, world's largest with extended campus in 150 countries, is collecting, organizing, preserving, time capsuling, decoding, spreading and reviving 20 million source books of Hinduism and 64 sacred arts, science like Ayurveda, music, dance, sculpting, astrology, Vastu, and many more. His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nityananda Paramashivam, is 293rd Guru Mahasannidhanam of Shamalapita Sarvanyapita, ancient apex body of Hinduism and present emperor of Suryavamsa Surangi Swamrajyam. His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nityananda Paramashivam, has survived the worst persecution of multiple assassination attempts on person and character by anti-Hindu elements. Beautifully, Bhagavan now explains who is His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nityananda Paramashivam.
Everything is infinitely powerful. You realize your potentiality. You establish yourself in the completion, space of completion. You are God, that's all. All of us are gods. The first experience is that I was able to see everything around me, above me, the whole 360 degree. I realized not only I was able to see, I was able to feel, experience the skin of the stone on rock on which I was sitting and the skin of this body. Both carry me equally. In both I exist equally. Sangha is a place where the tattvas are taught to you, and till it becomes satya, you are supported. Akhadas are basically founded by Sadashiva himself. All is ganas, Shiva ganas. Exactly the word gana means. In your length, breadth, depth, if you are filled by Shiva, you are Shiva gana. All the Shiva ganas formed the first Akhada. Later on, much later, Kapila Muni organizes Mahanirvani Akhada. Then all other Akhadas. As Mahamandaleshwar of Mahanirvani Akhada, the oldest apex body of Hinduism, I welcome every one of you . What I am teaching is from original Agamas Yogapada. The science very clearly declares, Sadashiva is very clear, manifestation of these powers happen when you experience oneness with Sadashiva. When you choose your Guru, the best thing is find a person who is enlightened, experienced, who can play with energy, who can directly transmit experience to you, and who is in tune with the original Shastras, the source of the knowledge. All the revealed scriptures available about the yoga directly by Sadashiva for you to do research, study, practice, question the people who teach.
The science of power manifestation is a gift to the humanity, which is authentic, time-tested, scientific, and foolproof. Diksha, or the initiation from His Divine Holiness, Nityananda Paramashivam, makes the science directly an experience for the initiates. The experience is directly authenticated by the Pramanas. The Shastra Pramanas, the eternal, unchangeable truth revealed in the source scriptures, the Veda and Agamas. The Apta Pramanas, the experience of the Rishis, Munis, Ganas, Nayanamars, Alvars, and Siddhars, who are the authority of Hinduism, who have scientists who time-tested and verified the science of power manifestation. The Atma Pramanas are the avatar who land on the planet Earth to give a superconscious breakthrough to humanity. His Divine Holiness Bhagavan Nityananda Paramashivam, this millennium's avatar, personal experience of power manifestation. Shakshi Pramanas, or the experience of the millions of disciples, devotees, and followers initiated into the science of power manifestation by Bhagavan himself. Pratyaksha Pramanas, or the scientific studies which can be measuring the effect of being in the enlightened state. Nityananda Jnana Paddhati for the power of depth dimension, powerful cognition from Bhagwan's Bhagavad Gita decoded. Let's go to the satsang now.
Gita, 5th chapter, Sannyasa Yoga, 17th verse. Tatbuddhayas tatatmanas tannishtas tatparayana gachanti apunaravrittim jnana nirduta kalmashaha. Beautiful verse. I'll do the live translation. Tatbuddhayas tatatmanas tannishtas tatparayana gachanti apunaravrittim Jnana nirduta kalmashaha. Tatbuddhyas, who are established in the intelligence. See, establishing yourself on intelligence. One of the biggest problem human beings face, they again and again tell you, I understand what is right and what is wrong, but I forget and do my own things. This is the one statement I hear from everybody every day. I understand what is right, what is wrong, but when it comes to action, I do my own things as per the old pattern. We need to understand, you are not born with the patterns with which you are working. When you are not born with them, you can change them. Please understand. When you are not born with certain pattern, it means it is created in you. Anything created can be changed. Now you can destroy the old one and create the new pattern. But constantly, for years and years and years, you go on cribbing. No, I know what is right, what is wrong, but I cannot do, I cannot look, I cannot see, I cannot change. Tat buddhyas means established in buddhi, means knowing clearly anything I created, I can destroy and recreate the new one. I have seen two types of people. People who create that cribbing pattern. Oh, I know what is right or wrong, but when I act the way that my patterns are. There's other group who think, let me try little. This group which cribs is in the level of cribbing even for next 2 years. What 2 years? Even for 20 years, they will not be doing anything other than cribbing. But this group which tries, comes out of the old pattern maybe in 2 or 3 months, because every time you think, I cannot, you are giving strength to your ignorance. Every time you think, I can, you are giving strength to your buddhi. Every time you think, it's okay, what is the need for transformation? With so much of struggle, you give strength to your tamas. Giving strength to your intelligence, tat buddhyas, establishing yourself in intelligence, means every step trying to change you 1 inch, trying to transform you just 1 inch extra, inch by inch trying to transform you. Tadbuddhyas tatatmanas tannishtas tatparayanaha. Establishing yourself in intelligence. Tatatmanas, second word, establishing yourself in the truth that you are Atman, the soul, consciousness. I tell you, the moment you remember your consciousness, the moment you remember you are the Atman, you are the pure soul, millions and millions of patterns becomes useless for you. I tell you, if you want to cross any pattern, it should become useless to you. You will never be able to cross by fighting. No. I tell you, you can never quit smoking by fighting with that pattern. You can never quit drinking by fighting with that pattern. You may be drinking to escape from something. You may be smoking to prove yourself as something or somebody. Maybe smoking makes you feel good about you. Maybe drinking makes you forget something about you. Only when the utility disappears, addiction can disappear. Without alcohol, if you are able to divert yourself from your sufferings, just by meditation or some other activity, then alcohol may be useless in your life. Only when it becomes useless, you will be able to come out of that pattern. Same way smoking. Without smoking, if you are able to give that same feeling towards yourself, that you are something which smoking gives, then smoking becomes useless to you. Only when things become useless to you, you can walk out of those patterns. When you remember you are the Atman, soul, there are millions of patterns in your life becomes useless. Just useless. You do not need them anymore. I should tell you from my experience. Once in Canada, one of my devotees, he forced me to come to a mall. And I have never seen a mall before that. I think in Toronto only. He wanted to show a mall for me. He said, "What is mall?" He said, "Everything. From clothes to computers, books, coffee, watches, everything will be available, Swamiji." I said, "What am I going to do?" He said, No, please come, Swamiji. You may like something may be useful, we can pick up. I said, "Shopping? I never did that in my life." I said, "No, I have nothing to buy. Whatever I want, a few things which I use, thousands of people buy that for me from around the world and pour. The moment they see I use this hand key, do you know how many thousands of these hand keys I get every year? Not hundreds, thousands. If I use every day 10, if I never touch again, if I don't touch this hand key second time, even then I will have enough supply for next 5 years. And the moment they see I use this mic, you don't know how many of these mics I receive as gift. The moment they see that I use this cloth, tiger screen printed, you don't know how many meters I get. I told him, I don't need to shop. Whatever few things, I use very less things, but whatever things I use, people pour on me. But he was a devotee. He was not ready to listen. He said, No, Swamiji, please come, please come. I just wanted to take you and show you, get something for you. I said, all right. We went. Almost 2.5 hours he showed me. 2.5 hours I spent in that mall. It's one of the largest mall, I think. It's just next to Swaminarayan Temple in Toronto. There's a huge Swaminarayan Temple. And after 2.5 hours, when I came out, I was just filled in ecstasy. It's such a personal experience, but I can share with you. So actually when I entered, I told myself, hey, whatever you want, you pick up, no problem. I entered in a very casual, playful mood. And I told the devotee also, don't worry, whatever I want, I will surely pick up. After 2.5 hours, going through the whole thing, when I came out, I tell you, not even one object seems to be useful in my life. It's a honest experience I'm sharing with you. Went round and came out. See, I am not trying to tell you this to teach renunciation for you. I am not saying you should also be like this. No. I am not using this situation to teach you some serious concept. I am telling you exactly the lightness of the whole situation. Please understand. I entered very light way, very playfully, very relaxed way. He's a close disciple who is begging me to pick up something. Literally asking as a boon, please pick up something. I'll be happy to give you that. Going around and coming back with that same light mood. Please understand, if I am in the bhava of Kala Bhairava, or giving Kala Bhairava darshan, or Kala Bhairava Swarupa, then I don't need anything. That is perfect. Kala Bhairava does not need anything. But even in an ordinary, playful, down-to-earth mood, when the mind does not want anything, understand, whole world becomes useless to you. The moment you remember your pure consciousness, even playfully, even in an ordinary way, whole world becomes useless to you.
Such a powerful cognition, how the whole world becomes useless to you when you remember you are Paramashiva. With this powerful cognition, let's go to the Shastra Pramana for manifesting the power of depth dimension.
Sutras, verse 1.16. Shuddha tattva sandhanadva apashu shaktihi. Shuddha tattva sandhanadva apashu shaktihi.
Shiva Sutra, Sutra 1.16. Bhagavan Paramashiva says, by fixing the self and aiming at the pure essence, cognizing from the depth of one's being that all that exists is Paramashiva, the pure essence, and attaining and uniting with the pure essence and existential reality, Paramashiva, he experiences Paramashiva and manifests Paramashiva's infinite power. Such a beautiful cognition. Bhagavan has given us a very big clarity how he went to the mall, the world's largest mall, and he did not pick up even one thing from the mall after 2.5 hours, not because he doesn't need anything, but he didn't find it used to his life. He means that how unconnected and unrealistic, how unconnected he is and how unrealistic we are when we do the shopping. It's just how we see the ad or the beautiful pictures display and we go in just shop for that. Here Bhagavan says, I was so happy that I didn't find anything because I was in an eternal bliss. Nothing could match that. Nothing could compete that. Nothing could equal that. Simply nothing was required from that space. It was just complete, perpetual completion, that nothing desire to get anything happened. Such a beautiful space that Bhagavan says, it's not I'm asking you to do renunciation, not dropping everything and being a sannyas, but understanding that the feeling that nothing is required from the inner space, which is desireless, thoughtless, only residing in the Paramashanta Swarupa, in eternal bliss, enjoying the whole scene, whole beauty, and whatever is manifested as auspiciousness and ultimate freedom from all these, what we so called mind, which gets completely clutched. Bhagavan beautifully says that once you're established in the Atman, Paramashiva space, you do not require anything. Once you know you are the owner of the factory, then why would you buy something from the factory? That is what Bhagavan means by this satsang. He gives such a depth. He says, hey, why do I need that? That's why he says in the beginning, people shower on Bhagavan whatever he needs, not because he asks, but the context, the consciousness itself pours on him. The devotees, in gratitude, just pour on him anything that is required. And here he says, why would you want anything from a place when you are the owner of everything? So that's what Bhagavan says, renunciation, not saying, okay, I will not touch it, I will not see it, I will not use it. You don't feel any more use, pleasure from that. Then you are renouncing the whole thing, whether smoking or alcohol or anything. You don't get anything out of it anymore because you have matured. Then you just drop it and say, hey, no more, this is very interesting. Like you would have taken a beautiful pink bag when you were a very small kid. You will not do that in a college probably, or not even a work. So the whole idea what you were doing when you were small, you are no more amazed about it because it is not you anymore, and you don't feel anything left out or lost or denied. You just feel matured because it is no longer valuable for you anymore. So Bhagavan beautifully says multiple things here. Renunciation not out of dropping something, but feeling fulfilled that he is the owner of everything, that he is Paramashiva space. And renunciation not out of frustration, but matured. It no longer gives you any more great pleasure out of that. So you don't have to take it up. So beautiful and so precise. Bhagavan is giving us the powerful cognition. With this powerful cognition, let's go to the Apta Pramana. Apta Pramanas are the rishis, munis, ganas, nayanamars, alvars who have time tested, verified the science of power manifestation. Here, beautiful story of Abhirami Bhattar. One day the king visited the temple to pay homage to Lord Shiva. On noticing the peculiar behavior of Subramanya Iyer, who was the temple priest, he inquired the other priest about the individual. One of them remarked that he was a madman, while another rejected this categorizing, explaining that to the king that Subramanya Iyer was the only an ardent devotee of goddess Abhirami. Seeking to know the truth himself, king approached the priest and asked him what day of the month it was. That is, whether it was a full moon day or a new moon day. Subramanya would see nothing else but shining imminent form of goddess before him, wrongly answered that it's a full moon day, while it was in fact a new moon day. The king rode off, informing the farmer that he would have his head cut off if the moon did not appear on the sky by 6 or in the night. Immediately realizing his mistake, Subramanya supposedly lit a huge fire and erected the platform over it, supported by 100 ropes. He set upon the platform and prayed to the goddess Abhirami to save him. He cut off one rope after another in succession on completion of each verse of his prayer. These hymns form the Abhirami Andadi. On completion of 79th hymns, the goddess Abhirami manifested herself before him and threw her earring over the sky such that it shone with bright light upon the horizon. The area around the temple sparkled with the bright light, overcoming with ecstasy. Subramani Iyer composed 21 more verses in the praise of the goddess. This is for Apta Pramana for the depth dimension, switching on the light. Depth dimension, switching on the light. The source is from Thirukadayur Temple Varalaru, Abhirami Andadi song written by Abhirami Pattar, verse 79 to 80. Now we'll go to Atma Pramana. Bhagavan beautifully narrates his Leela.
I don't know how many of you today observed. I got a little late for the Dvajarohanam. It is supposed to be 6:40 to 7. I told the son, don't come out till I finish the Dvajarohanam. And today 40 minutes sunrise late. See the Biddi sunrise time today. See, there's a Google thing, there's a website where the sunrise time is supposed to be time and actual time is recorded. Today will be 40 minutes late. You want to see? It was actually only after I came out, finishing the Dvajarohanam, sun was even seen in the east. Not because of cloud. Cloud means he will be seen high.
I couldn't continue giving the session because I had no internet. And at that moment in my space, I was like, no, I will not let this external happening stop me from giving this session. This is too auspicious. This session is too powerful. I just cannot give up. And so what happened, the solution came. So what happened is that I had someone's phone number who was part of the session. So I called that person, he put me on speaker, and then was holding the phone next to the computer. And I declared out loud, I told everyone, this is extremely auspicious because this Kriya is to manifest willpower, will persistence. So this is what we're going to do. We're not going to give up. I'm going to give you the instructions. We're going to go through the whole sequence and you're going to get that experience. And I was really strong in that space that I wanted to make it happen, and it was going to happen. Like nothing could stop it from happening. So we started doing. So the whole session, that whole section of the session, we did basically like that, like just my voice through the phone. Okay, and this is when it happened. So at the end of that sequence, it was time for the part where we have to light the lamps. So, and there were about like 30 people at that point who were about to light their lamps. And I remember my inner space was really joyful. Like I got really excited. And I just said it in such a joyful way. I said, okay, now it's time to light the lamps. As soon as the words came out, there was not even a 1 second gap. The whole like electricity, like the whole house just became lit like all over. It came back at that very second. It was just too powerful. It was just too obvious that Swamiji just created this whole drama just to be able to show, actually out of compassion, just to show everybody his presence, that everything, like he's so real, that third eye power is so real that the power of our Vak, like Vak Shakti, the words that we give when we are in that conscious space and high frequency, every single thing manifests. And the whole thing was so auspicious, and it's so hard to convey in words. But I was so shocked when I saw the whole happening. I screamed through the phone, and everybody was, you know, in that space of excitement. And I was like, oh, like the light just came back. As the words were uttered, the whole thing just started happening all over again. Then the Wi-Fi came back, and I was able to connect and come back. And I tell you, like, the space of everybody, like on that group, on that Zoom chat, was just so blissful. Everybody was just, you know, everybody knew that they had just experienced something so powerful and such a blessing, you know, like Swamiji, out of just his compassion, to clear any doubts. If ever anyone had any doubts about, you know, his presence, about power, about if it's real, if it's not real, he just took care and just attended to everyone in such a sweet way. And obviously, you know, for me, I have had so many experiences with Swamiji. Like, I know that third eye is real. I know that my guru is like the ultimate, that he can give the ultimate experiences just like that. That basically Paramashiva just manifests through my guru, and that I know for.
So beautiful experience of the disciple. And now let's go to the instruction for the manifesting power of depth, switching light on, and Pratyaksha Pramana.
Pratyaksha Pramana. Scientific studies. What can be measured? Measuring the effects of being in enlightenment state. Vedic sciences have always maintained that consciousness is the very substance of space and time. His Divine Holiness, Bhagwan Paramahamsa Nityananda, has clearly defined the existence of 11 dimensions of consciousness. As per his elucidation, space can exist by itself. On the other hand, time can exist only in the presence of space, but can still exist without other dimensions, including the obvious ones, depth, length, and breadth. Source from Avatar Shastra, Chapter 2, Consciousness, page 83. In quantum terms, thought too is energy. Every cell of our body produces thoughts in the form of signals, which may be electrical, chemical, or otherwise. These can be measured in TPS, or thoughts per second. The normal TPS of the average human being can be hundreds of or thousands. Some thoughts are processed consciously, while others are processed unconsciously. A TPS of 0 is the state of Advaita, or enlightenment. Space is made up of strings of potential energy, which are in constant vibration, spanda, leading to the creation of virtual particles. This is a very basis of the Vedic truth of consciousness. In the Avatar Shastra, Swamiji mentions quantum physicist Amit Goswami's article about entanglement between two people. Quantum physicist of Indian origin, Amit Goswami, made two people meditate together. They were separated in two chambers, one person in each. When one person had a light stroked at his eye, it caused the firing of certain frequency in the brain. Remarkably, at the same moment, the other person's brain also fired, even though he never saw the light. This proves that the energies of people intuitively affect each other.
There are two kinds of movement in the world. One kind of movement is maximum speed limit with the speed of light. That's the kind of movement that is allowed in the domain that we call space and time. That's where matter moves, that's where things look diverse. But the other kind of domain is where the speed of communication is infinite. We call it non-local. That's the domain of potentiality. And if there is instant connection in that domain, then do you see, it got to be one. If things are instantly interconnected, that interconnectedness is oneness. That is the oneness that mystics and spiritual teachers talk about. That is the oneness. So simply by recognizing that objects are possibilities, we are looking at a oneness. And then it's just a question of language. Question of language. What should I call this oneness?
Whole brain activation studies were done on Nityananda Gurukul students. The Bender-Gestalt test assesses the level of whole brain activation, the student's ability to see the big picture and recall the details of it. It is more than an IQ test. It was showing outstanding results on the memory ability of the Gurukul students. It is very unusual for students to remember such a high number of Gestalt forms. Each Gurukul student attended to the test card carefully and persistently transposed the Gestalt form. Remaining calm, cool, and collected, they initially approached each Gestalt form with a keen observation and analysis of the form, and then exhibited a steady perseverance, attending 8-minute details. Source: Avatar Shastra, Chapter 8, Third Eye Awakening, page 177. Charting Future Terrain with Higher Education. This article explores the role of contemplative practices within an emerging interdisciplinary area that are referred to as creativity and consciousness studies. Within the new area, consciousness is studied from an integral perspective that brings together insights from a range of wisdom traditions and modern science. Meditation is presented as an essential first-person modality for investigating consciousness, and formal and non-formal approaches to meditation and delineated to establish important guidelines for the introduction of meditation into an academic setting. The role of first-person experience helps to develop new notions of rigor and interdisciplinary learning that can lead to an expanded educational experience, which can help to develop qualities such as mental clarity, inner calm, insights, compassion, and creativity. The article closes with reflections on the importance of expanding our approach to education in light of the demanding challenges and creative opportunities in today's world. Source: Meditation, Creativity, and Consciousness.
Power, Depth Dimension. Power 14, Switching on the Light. Setting up. Before entering into the power manifestation process, please ensure to have the following with you. Number 1, a camera with timestamp. Number 2, Jnana Anjana. Now please take a few moments to set up your camera. Step number 1, download timestamp app. Step number 2, click on video. Step number 3, ensure that time is shown on screen. Step number 4, make sure the camera is facing you. Please take a few minutes to set it up. Guidelines. Now take a few moments to set up. Number 1, choose a comfortable location to sit for the duration of the manifestation. Number 2, if there's a window in the room, ensure that you close the blinds or curtains. Number 3, set up your camera to focus on you as well as to capture the lighting quality of the whole room. Number 4, room light and light switch should be visible by the camera at all times. Now start. Turn on the video recording with timestamp. Number 1, turn off the light in the room, then sit in a comfortable position. Number 2, apply Jnana Anjana, if you have, between your eyebrows. Bring your awareness between your brow center and gently focus while connecting to Paramashiva. Number 3, sit straight for 21 minutes, unclutching from all thoughts that arise during the continuous chanting of the Mahavakya. Enjoy the experience. Number 4, after the Mahavakya subsides, verify how much the light has increased. Number 5, manifestation range of outcomes. 1, light flickering has happened. 2, any gradual lighting increase. 3, completely switching on the light without touching the light switch. Number 6, after recording the switching on of the light, you can turn off your camera. Number 7, celebrate with gratitude the manifestation of switching on the light without assistance. Let us now listen to the spiritual guidelines.
Power manifestation instructions. Let's sit straight, the head, neck and back in a straight line, so that beautifully the Kundalini energy raises to the Agnya where the manifestation happens. Usually our awareness is on Muladhara, Swadhisthana and Manipuraha, where navel center, your below navel center. Here, bringing the awareness to your third eye and sitting straight will give us amazing possibility of power manifestation. Now let's understand few words that Bhagavan is repeatedly using. Shaktipada, oneness, be unclutched, initiation. So here first we will see in Bhagavan's words what is Shaktipada.
Let me give an introduction about what is Shaktipada process. Please understand. You would have seen or heard about how the chicken sits on the egg and hatches. Of course, in the modern countries, this does not happen. Machine sits on the egg and or egg sits on the machine. In those days, originally when hens and chicken were getting produced on the planet Earth, the hen used to sit on the chicken and hen used to sit on the egg and the chicken will come out of the egg. See, same way, Sadashiva sitting means the ultimate cosmic energy sitting on the individual soul and making the individual soul into cosmic energy is Shaktipada. Hen sitting on the egg and making the chicken happen, same way. You may think, how come, what is going on here? That hen is only sitting just by the body heat of the hen, the egg is becoming chicken. Because no surgery is done and nothing goes inside. It's only sitting. Same way, it is just sitting. It's only the presence, the Shaktipada makes the individual soul into cosmic soul.
Beautifully, Bhagavan explained Shaktipada, how individual soul becomes cosmic soul, and let's listen to initiation.
You see, let me explain the initiation. Initiation is the process beyond your intellectual understanding. The transmission of lamp happens. Now, you understood something intellectually. There is something which is not understood, which can't be transmitted through the words. That is transmitted. That's what we call initiation. Sometimes I tell people that unless you are initiated, the techniques do not create the result. The reason is you do not grasp completely whatever is expressed through words. Initiation is like it just transmits whatever need to be transmitted beyond logic and beyond words. People ask me why to wear this bracelet or this mala and all those things. This all will remind you. Why bracelet in the hand? It will remind you before eating, did you meditate? It's a constant reminders. Before eating, let you be reminded, did you do the meditation? That is why this bracelet. That is why this mala, that is why these external things, sometimes these external things does a big job of reminding you constantly. That is why take the help of external things also, nothing wrong. People ask me, why we can just be spiritual without having external things? If you can, really you are welcome. But I don't think anybody who speaks in that way is successful. I've never seen people becoming successful avoiding the external things, just having internal things. And it is just nice way of escaping from yourself.
Beautifully, Bhagavan explained initiation. Let's listen to be unclutched. What is to be unclutched?
The thoughts, every thought is independent, illogical, unconnected, and unclutched. Because the gap between two thoughts is too small. The neutral space between the two thoughts is too small. You think all the thoughts are connected and it is in the shape form. It is not. By your very nature, every thought is independent, illogical, unconnected, and unclutched. Between every thought, you experience a neutral space. When you change the gear, whether you go from neutral to 1 or 1 to 2 or 2 to 3 or 3 to 4 or 4 to whatever gears you may change, but every time you have to come to the neutral space. Only then you can go to the next gear. Even if you want to go from 2 to 3, you have to come to the neutral space. Only then you can go to 3. Same way, between every thought, you experience a neutral space. You experience a neutral space between every thought. Between every thought. That neutral space, that silence is what I call peace or bliss. The peace which exists, the bliss which exists already in you, between every thought, the gap of the thought, the gap between the thoughts, that neutral space is the peace, is the bliss. When you understand you are unconnected, independent, illogical, and unclutched by your very nature, you will start experiencing the neutral space in you, neutral space which exists in you. You will start living from moment to moment in spontaneity. You need to understand one more thing. This technique of being unclutched, it does miracles in your being. In the body level, or in the mental level, or in the being level. In every level, when you understand the truth, by your very nature, you are unclutched. The tremendous quantum transformation. You take a quantum jump, the transformation happens in quantum, not step by step. Just one jump. You take a quantum jump and experience the truth awakening in you.
The oneness space is the most beautiful space that Bhagavan himself is explaining how we are ferocious. Beyond the tiredness and boredom, we can experience the space of oneness and be unclutched.
Oneness is not imagination. Oneness is not visualization. Oneness is not even just declaration. It is your existence. An idea which is you is oneness. The idea which has become part of your very space, which does not tire you or bore you by the passage of the time, is oneness. Mahadeva says in the Agama, Sadashiva beautifully explains in the Agama, Kala, Yama cannot tire you or bring boredom to you if something becomes your space. Devi achieved the blissful state and union with Mahadeva on Shivaratri day because our space became oneness. Anything which brings tiredness or boredom has not yet become your space. If living in this body brings you tiredness and boredom, you are not going to be living in this body forever. When that becomes too much, you are going to drop it and move ahead. If you want to be in oneness forever, it should become part of your space, means you should become ferocious with you and break this very tiredness and boredom. Only when you deal you with the ferociousness, you break the tiredness and boredom. With that ferociousness, you need to make oneness as your space. Anything stands as an imagination in the length level, visualization in the breadth level, declaration in the depth level. If you open your time with ferociousness, it just sinks into space level. With this ferociousness, the time layer in you opens, and the oneness from imagination to visualization to declaration, it becomes your space, the way of existence.
The most important, Bhagavan says, being unclutched, understanding the Shaktipada, the oneness space, and chanting the Mahavakya. The Mahavakya, the power of the Mahavakya pushes you into the higher states of consciousness. Here Bhagavan himself explains how we can experience the Shaktipada, raised higher consciousness through Mahavakya.
It's one of the very important revelation by Sadashiva. All the electronic equipments work when the electrons are made to vibrate. That happens by the light. When the electricity is supplied, the light particle vibrates, the electronic equipment starts working. Just like that, the spiritual power and the umbilical cord connection, spiritual umbilical cord connection between you and me, it works with sound particle. For example, my integrity with the cosmos, Sadashiva, Mahasadashiva, it reverberates in certain level of frequency. When you are integrated to me, you also start reverberating in the same frequency. If your integrity goes down, that is when you start connecting with me only as a manager or this organization head or your Purvashram father, mother. Your connection with me goes down to the lower level if the integrity gets reduced. I was wondering, what is the way we can bring people to the higher integrity immediately and the feeling connection, so they start manifesting the powers, they start staying in the space of Sadashivatva. Sadashiva revealed a beautiful sound. I can tell you, this is like a password. At any point, if you are not able to bring yourself to oneness, you are a little shaken, disturbed, or for some reason, you are not able to bring yourself to oneness. This is like a password. You type, whether your mind feels connected or not, the energy will start flowing in you beyond the depth dimension. You see, all mind oscillation, restlessness, all mental idea based feeling connected or not feeling connected is only length, breadth, depth level, not in the space level. But this sound will straight infuse energy from the space level. Like for example, if the power goes off, automatically the generator will get switched on and the power supply will be going on. So end result will not be lost. Whether government power supply or the generator power supply, end result will not be stopped. So whenever you feel little that oneness is, you are not catching it, just feed this password. Immediately the oneness will open up and you will start manifesting the powers, energy, and the whole space will shift. It is directly from Sadashiva. It's a beautiful sound. I don't even want to say it's a mantra. It is not even a mantra because there is no meaning in it. You can't derive a meaning for it. It just flashed like a password for all the initiations I am giving. One single password for all the initiations I am giving. And the initiations I gave, I am giving, I will be giving for all that. This is like one password. Don't even repeat like a mantra. Just feed like a password and it will just open up. Your whole being will open up. Listen carefully. It starts with the vibration Om. Listen and then repeat. Om. Very deep. Om. Nityananda. Nityananda. Maha Sadashivoham.
So Bhagavan gave beautiful explanation of how you can be in Shaktipada. Visualize Paramashiva who has come down as Bhagavan Nityananda Paramashivam from Kailasha. Remembering Paramashiva in your third eye. Again and again, bringing your awareness to your third eye simply makes you manifest powers. Absolute unclutching. How Bhagavan said, the neutral zone, nothing ever touches the screen. Like same way, the movie does not touch the screen, whether it is happening in ferocious or any soft, beautiful, nothing touches the screen. Be unclutched like the screen. And to experience the state of Paramashiva, your inner space being completely unclutched. Complete completion to experience the space of Paramashiva. Inside us, the complete completion happens when we are in tune with Paramashiva. That everything is redundant and irrelevant. The essence of completion is irrelevant. Nothing matters in your life because everything is complete completion. Oneness with Paramashiva. How Bhagavan said, in ferocious breaking the boredom and tiredness, just being in the space of oneness with Paramashiva to manifest the powers of Paramashiva. Tyaga as Paramashiva is your only strength, now declaring complete integrity with Bhagavan to experience the being of Paramashiva. How Bhagavan said, chanting the Mahavakya raises your frequency and that is your only strength to manifest any reality. Being in this beautiful space of Paramashiva, you can experience such a beautiful space, state, powers, and becoming the being of Paramashiva, manifesting whatever you want. Now, you will be manifesting the powers, watching the oneness capsule, and chanting the Mahavakya, Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. We'll be playing the Mahavakya and the oneness capsule for you to manifest powers. At end of the Mahavakya, you can start with the verification and sharing and causing. Thank you.
Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Varni open up, manifest in all of us. Let Paramashiva overflow, manifest the power in all our third eyes. Om Jnana Paramashivam. Om Jnana Paramashivam. Jnana Paramashivam. Om Jnana Paramashivam. Om Jnana Paramashivam. Jnana Paramashivam. Om Jnana Paramashivam. Om Jnana Paramashivam. Jnana Paramashivam. Om Jnana Paramashivam. Om Jnana Paramashivam. Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Varni open up, manifest in all of us. Let Paramashiva overflow, manifest the power in all our third eye. Om Jnana Paddhati. Om Jnana Paddhati. 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 Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Varni open up. Jnana Paddhati. Jnana Paddhati. Jnana Paddhati. Jnana Paddhati. Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Vani open up, manifest in all of us. Let Paramashiva overflow, manifest the power in all our third eyes. Om Jnana Paramashivam. 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 Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Vani open up, manifest in all of us. Let Paramashiva overflow, manifest the power in all our third eyes. Om Jnana Paramashivam. 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 Om Jnana Paramashivoham. Nityananda 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 Paramashivoham. Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Nityananda Paramashivoham. 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 Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Varni open up, manifest in all of us. Let Paramashiva overflow, manifest the power in all our third eyes. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. Om Paramashivoham. Nityananda 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 Paramashivoham.
Verification process. Please ensure to thoroughly verify the following. Number 1. The time and date stamp appear in your video. Number 2. Video recording has a wide-angle horizontal view and captures the room. Number 3. The light source and the light switch are in full view during the entire process. Number 4. Include in your video recording that the light switch works. Turn on and off once or twice. Number 5. Camera is on and has not moved for the entire session. Number 6. Video recording is continuous without stopping and restarting during the manifestation process, and that zero editing is done to the video. Number 7. The light switch is physically in the off position during the whole session. Number 8. Your recording captures the turning on of the room light on its own with zero intervention inside or outside the room. Number 9. Now that the verification process is complete, the next instructions will show you how to upload and share your video. Thank you so much for your participation.
Beautiful. We are at the end of the power manifestation, but most important part of the power manifestation. Here, we are going to share all that you have manifested with the social media groups. Here we have Sri Kailasha Kotyar Manifesting Power Groups. Thousands of people are part of that. And you can share there and you can post your powerful cognition and the videos. The link is tinyurl.com/powermanifestation. It is at the left corner of the page. You can click on it and you can post your beautiful experience in the power manifestation group. Why sharing and causing is very important part of power manifestation. Bhagavan beautifully explains that sharing is pulling us out of delusion and causing is liberating us. We are the ones who need to start experiencing the higher states of reality, how we need to exist. Beautifully, Bhagavan explains when you are sharing with others the ultimate beautiful multidimensional logic, your brain rewires into the higher space of consciousness, the Turyatita state. Again and again, when you experience even a little bit, you share with the world, your experience becomes reality. Same thing when you cause others to come and get initiated for higher reality, you are caused into the higher purpose, the ultimate reality. Bhagavan says extreme causing, extreme power manifestation is extreme causing. So beautifully he explains how our strength is declared on Paramashiva. The power manifestation happens exactly in tune to that. And sharing with the world, continuously reiterating ourselves the experience that we had from the powerful cognition and manifesting the space of Paramashiva, the state of Paramashiva, the beings of Paramashiva, we become Paramashiva. Go on sharing and causing which is the most important part of how you have experienced your reality. When you go to a temple, we pray and we see that beautiful experience happen in us, and then share with the world that how amazing the temple experience has manifested as your reality. Same way, when you manifest powers, when you share with the world, it becomes more and more the depth cognition of you, and you will be experiencing more powers. Even if you're manifested very small, it does not matter the quantity, Bhagavan says. The quality is important. If it is authentic, please go ahead and share with the world. Do not doubt, have self-doubt, self-denial, self-hatred come and block anything. Experience the ultimate in deep seeking and gratitude. Bhagavan manifest in you with a deep prayer, that asking Bhagavan to make this reality as your existential reality. With that, let's end with the Purna Mantra, thanking Bhagavan for all these great experience. We have come to the end of the Power Manifestation course, and we end with the Purna Mantra. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purna Purnamudashyate Purnasya Purnamataya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat Sarvam Bhagavate Sri Nityananda Parameshwaram Padaka Arpanamastu. Om Nityanandam. Thank you for participating in the Jnana Paddhati, Nityananda Jnana Paddhati course. Please go ahead and select more power manifestation and every day experience the ultimate reality for yourself. Nityananda.
Om Nityananda Paramashivoham